I want a tall, fair, beautiful woman with big hips. When I walk beside her, people will know I have arrived. The Giant Wife, Part 1. In the quiet village of Umokoro lived Kemi, a small-bodied man with a big dream. Though short and slim, his brain shone brighter than gold. He was the first from the village to graduate from the university and get a job in the city. When he returned home with his fancy clothes and English accent, the whole village celebrated him. Girls smiled shyly when he passed. From Neka the tailor to Amoka the teacher, everyone admired him. But Kemi wasn't impressed. All these small girls, he laughed one evening. No. I want a tall, fair, beautiful woman with big hips. When I walk beside her, people will know I have arrived. His mother shook her head sadly. My son, don't let pride blind your eyes. It's not the size of a woman that builds a home. But Kemi was too proud to listen. Soon, he met Obiajiri, tall, fair, and strikingly beautiful. Her hips swayed like the river flow, and her voice could silence a crowd. She spoke boldly, and Kemi's heart melted. He said to himself, this is the woman who will make people respect me. He married her despite his mother's tears of warning. Their wedding was the talk of the village, the small man and the giant queen. For a few months, their marriage looked perfect. Obiajiri dressed like a goddess, and Kemi proudly followed her to every village meeting. But soon, the mask fell. Obiajiri's tongue became sharper than a blade. She shouted at him in public, insulted him before his friends, and one night, when Kemi tried to correct her, she roared. Keep quiet, you small rat of a man. Don't ever raise your voice at me again. Before he could speak, her hand landed hard on his face. That night, Kemi slept outside, crying under the moon. The once proud graduate now hid from his own wife. Days turned to weeks. The beatings continued, sometimes with words, sometimes with hands. Each time, Kemi told himself she would change. But she never did. One evening, his mother visited and saw bruises on his arm. My son, she whispered with tears, you wanted a woman who would show the world you have arrived. Now that same woman is showing the world your shame. One night, Obiajiri's slap echoed through the compound and Kemi ran outside. He sat on a wooden bench, shivering as the night breeze brushed his face. The sky was dark, and soon the rain began to fall. His mother's words echoed in his mind. It's not the size of a woman that builds a home. He sat there for hours, drenched and silent, his heart heavy with shame. The next morning, he went back inside quietly. Obiajiri was already dressed, applying powder before the mirror. Good morning, he said softly. She hissed. So you're still here? I thought you'd run to your mother. Kemi forced a weak smile. You're my wife. I can't leave you. But peace never returned. The house became a battlefield. She insulted him when he didn't give her enough money, broke his phone once during an argument, and often reminded him. Without me, no one will even notice you. One afternoon, during a village meeting, Obiajiri embarrassed Kemi in front of elders. When he tried to speak, she shouted. Keep quiet, Kemi. Must you talk when grown men are talking? Laughter filled the crowd. Kemi's heart broke in two. That night, he wept silently. He stopped eating, stopped smiling, and stopped visiting friends. His co-workers in the city noticed his quietness, but he told them, I'm fine. One evening, he came home early and met Obiajiri drinking palm wine with two strange men. He called her name, trembling. Obiajiri, what is this? She stood up, her eyes red from drink. Don't you ever question me again, she shouted and pushed him to the ground. Kemi hit his shoulder against the wall. Neighbors rushed in. Some tried to separate them, others whispered. Chai, this woman will cry this man one day. The village elders summoned Obiajiri, but she refused to go. She said Kemi was too small to control her. Shame covered Kemi like dust. One night, after another quarrel, she fell asleep on the bed. Kemi knelt beside her, tears streaming down his face. God, he prayed, if this is marriage, take away the pride in my heart. Give me peace, even if it means breaking me first. He stayed, not because he was weak, but because he still hoped she would change. He began going to church, praying every morning for her heart to soften. Obiajiri grew worse each day. She no longer hid her disrespect. She started moving around with other men, laughing loudly at the village square, ignoring Kemi completely. One evening, Kemi asked quietly, Obiajiri, why are you doing this to me? What wrong have I done? She looked at him and laughed coldly. You can never satisfy me, Kemi. You're not man enough for me. Her words pierced his heart like a blade. He stood still, unable to speak as she walked out, swinging her bag and pride. The gossip spread quickly through Umuokoro. People whispered that the beautiful wife of Kemi now mocked him in public. Some pitied him, others laughed behind his back. Kemi became a shadow of himself. He stopped going to work. His once bright eyes turned dull. Even his mother wept every time she saw him. My son, she said one morning, holding his hands, you wanted a woman who would make you look great. But greatness without peace is destruction. Months passed. Obiajiri's pride grew, but one morning, she ran out of their hut shouting with joy. Kemi! Kemi! I'm pregnant. Kemi froze, then dropped to his knees in tears. He hugged her belly with trembling hands. Thank you, God. Finally, peace has come to my home. He told everyone in Umuokoro. At last, he thought Obiajiri would stop roaming, stop insulting him, and focus on their unborn child. But he was wrong. That pregnancy became the beginning of his greatest suffering. Obiajiri began to act like a queen. She refused to do anything. She would sit on the bamboo chair all day, ordering Kemi around. Kemi, I want roasted fish and fresh palm wine. Kemi, I feel like eating pepper soup from Mama Ifeoma's restaurant. Kemi, I want soft bread and fried egg this night. Even when he told her he had no money, she shouted. Are you not the one who made me pregnant? Go and find it. Kemi would leave early in the morning, doing small jobs, carrying blocks, fetching water, cutting firewood, just to buy her cravings. He came home every night with aching bones and blistered palms, yet she didn't say thank you. Sometimes, when he returned late, she threw the food away and said, I told you I don't eat cold food. Neighbors began to talk again. That woman has turned her husband into a servant. Pregnancy or not, this is wickedness. But Kemi endured in silence. He believed that when the baby arrived, things would change. One night, Obiajiri complained of labor pains. Kemi ran through the rain to call the midwife. He held her hands through her cries, whispering, Please be strong, my love. You will be fine. Hours later, the cry of a baby filled the hut. It's a boy, the midwife shouted. Kemi fell to his knees in joy. A son. God has remembered me. But before his tears of joy could dry, Obiajiri turned her face away. She didn't even look at him. Don't think this baby will change anything, Kemi, she said weakly. You're still not man enough for me. Kemi stood frozen, the baby in his hands, as lightning flashed outside. He realized then, the storm in his home had only just begun.